on with a 10% discount through the month of March for both new buildings on the lot as well as built buildings. And I want to remind you, perfect time to get that pool house or that quilting room. Come see me, Rick, at RV of Panama City, the local Stormore Portable Building dealer, 2241 East Baldwin Road.
So far, so good in avoiding a sophomore slump for Gibbs. I'm Kyle Rickey. That story next on NASCAR Hot Pass.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. Go ahead, feel your engine. Admire that perfectly installed exhaust. Your vehicle's moving along this freeway like it was made from fresh installs and a whole lot of love. With eBay Motors, you get over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Wherever you cheer, whatever you drive, you'll find Racing Electronics. With Racing Electronics, you'll hear uncensored communication from every team in the race and the broadcast with all your favorite MRN announcers. Hear every heart-pounding pass, pit strategy, and so much more with a scanner and headphone rental. Upgrade to an Easy Talk intercom system to comfortably communicate over the noise of the race. To learn more, visit racingelectronics.com. Be race ready. Be RE equipped.
Ty Gibbs is in just his second full NASCAR Cup Series season, and while he's still looking for his first victory, he has been consistently running and finishing toward the front of the field in the first 6 races of the year. Gibbs goes into this Sunday's race at the Richmond Raceway second in the championship standings with an average finish of 7.8. Gibbs credits a full year of experience and well-prepared race cars.
It's been very valuable in my career, of course. We only have 20 minutes of practice, so got to make the best of that. But over time, you get more experience, and it helps more and more.
Gibbs has top 10 finishes in every race this season, except the season-opening Daytona 500, and he's led laps in the last 3 events. I'm Kyle Rickey. This is NASCAR Hot Pass on the Motor Racing Network.
WPLQ Port St. Joe.
Let's play the game.
Powered by Panama City Toyota.
I just don't think that anybody's going to succeed in that system. It's just a bad organization.
The Afternoon Underdogs.
Onion pickles, onions, pickles.
Live and local.
Look, it's impressive.
On ESPN.
Northwest Florida.
What's going on, Northwest Florida? You guys are now tuned in to the Afternoon Underdogs here on ESPN Northwest Florida, 104.3 right here in Panama City and 101.9 in Port St. Joe. We are also streaming live on Facebook, on YouTube, and on Twitter. You can call or text us today at 850-215-6290. I'm David Hayes along with AG Adam Goff, Kyle Wright, and Caveman Rick today. Great to have Kyle Wright back in the building with us. Kyle, how has everything been? I know that we might not have time to talk about some of the topics that we wanted to, but if you want to just start off with your top 5 driving experiences on 231.
Happy to say I drove on the right side of 98 to get here today, so really good, well done. Don't drink and drive, kids. I didn't make the mistake. Somebody else did, obviously, and I paid for it, unfortunately, and I feel good. I'm happy to be here. I haven't been here since right before the accident.
January 17th.
January 17th, which ironically was the day Ryan Mulvey had his accident here in the studio.
Yeah.
And we were sitting in here after, and we were all kind of talking to each other. We're like, is this place cursed?
Yeah, don't say we were all talking. You said that.
Yeah, I said, is this place cursed? And
Don't
then 48 hours.
Evil on me, Ricky Bobby.
48 hours later, boys. The truck, R.I.P.
Yeah, man. A lifesaver, obviously, sentimental value in that truck with your grandpa passing and leaving that truck with you, but it definitely saved your life. So, man.
Could have been worse.
Could have been a lot worse. If you were in that Kia, man, there's little doubt in my mind that who knows if we're having a March 27th as we're having today. So great to have you with us. Great to have you back with us. Also want to give a shout out to my dude, Jeremy Stark. I walked into church the other night and he was right over there kind of he was a greeter. And I was like, man, that guy looks really familiar. And it was Jeremy Stark. So it was good to see you, my friend. Hope everything is well. Hope you're tuned in this afternoon. But if not, all good. You can go back to Facebook later, YouTube, or Twitter. You can watch all the shows. And I would also encourage you guys, if you were not listening live to the Inside Drive this afternoon from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m., they had a segment from 11 to about 11:40. They had Earl Bowles on with them, who is a huge presence in the golf world in this area, and it was just one of the best, if not the best, interviews that I've been a part of. And as Kyle can attest to, as Caveman Rick can attest to, as AG can attest to, we've had some pretty big interviews on this show. I mean, Bobby Bowden. The list is pretty large of names, but at the end of the day, for me, it's not about the name of the person or the person that it is that we're interviewing. It's about the substance that they come with. And that interview this afternoon on the Inside Drive was absolutely packed, jam full with fantastic substance. Before we dive into the local today, I saw this on Twitter today and thought it would be a fun discussion for this particular group. Andrew Luck, Trevor Lawrence, Caleb Williams are all in the 2024 draft. You don't know about the future of Andrew Luck. Which quarterback are you drafting? Is it going to be Caleb Williams, Trevor Lawrence, or Andrew Luck? If all three of those guys are on the board, who do the Chicago Bears take? Or we can change it and have our team drafting 1 overall. Who would you want your team to take with that first overall pick? We'll start with you, AG.
Quarterback more than I do. Won't you pick?
Yeah. So basically, I want to ask a follow-up question. Like,
right.
Obviously, this is into I'm the GM of the Chicago Bears right now,
or the Miami Dolphins.
Okay. Well, I'm saying I'm the number 1 pick right now.
Yeah.
It's today's NFL that I'm drafting this player into.
Yes.
Because the easy answer would be Andrew Luck, because he was absolutely the best quarterback out of the 3. We don't know what Caleb Williams is going to be. Trevor Lawrence is a little iffy. However, I think using that information and knowing the way that the league is today, not pocket passer friendly. We've seen Joe Burrow, 2 season-ending injuries. If you can't get out of the pocket, basically, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
And Andrew Luck he's a pocket passer.
Yeah.
I don't think that guy survives today. He didn't survive that. He didn't survive then.
Well, he had a terrible offensive line. So even if he goes to Chicago, if he went to the Tennessee Titans, I think he'd have better success with Miami because their offensive line is better than the Tennessee Titans. It's better than the Chicago Bears. But yeah, you're 100% right. He almost gets thrown into the same exact situation, and there is more mobility there for Caleb Williams.
And maybe worse off.
Yeah.
Right? So, no, I say Trevor Lawrence out of these 3.
I like that. AG?
I'm going to go Andrew Luck here.
Mr. All on his high horse over here. Well, your quarterback situation is worse than mine. I got Joey B.
But no, I go Andrew Luck here. If I'm the GM, I actually do the right thing and build the offensive line up around him, then go get him some weapons, maybe in free agency, maybe in the 2nd, 3rd round, rather than going and drafting 5'9" wide receivers year after year for Andrew Luck to throw to. I go and get Andrew Luck, and he is mobile. He is able to move out of the pocket. His big rib injury, I believe, happened on a pretty big run that he got hit on, which I think eventually led to him, retiring at the way he did.
Yeah.
Caleb Williams, the jury's still out, right? I mean, everybody's knocking the kid for, his last season at USC, but we've seen quarterbacks under Lincoln Riley in college do well and then maybe have some issues, right? But then we've seen them in the NFL, they've been able to kind of transcend and kind of improve. So I'd like to be able to see that from Caleb Williams. I think the kid gets it. I think he understands what it's going to take. The only thing I don't like about Caleb Williams, and this is just a me thing, it's not a knock on that kid, is he seems a little weak in terms of taking criticism.
Okay.
Right? And then if you're in Chicago, that's a hard people up there, man. They don't hold punches.
Yeah.
And, I mean, it's not New York. It's not Philly, right? But Chicago's pretty brutal. So that's my only thing about Caleb Williams. Trevor Lawrence, like Kyle said, jury's still out, man. I'd like to see him with another full year under Peterson to see what he's able to do. I don't think Ridley was the right answer for that offense, but we'll see what happens with T-Law down the road.
Hey, he's $92 million worth to the Tennessee Titans, man. I was, you know how it is, right? For all of us, we love when our team drafts someone from our college team, from our collegiate team, or when we sign or trade for someone from our collegiate team. But that happened again while we were on the air, and what are you doing, Tennessee? What are you doing? So we'll see how it plays out. You know, DeAndre Hopkins and Calvin Ridley are excited about playing in that Brian Callahan-led offense. We'll see how that plays out
with Tony
for them.
Too? I mean, that team
interesting.
More interesting.
Levis has the weapons, right? Which you and I talked about, I think, when this happened, is they're supplying him with the weapons. Now it's his time to go and do it and earn it.
Well, the move that I've been thoroughly excited about is L'Jarius Sneed.
Yes.
Getting that. All right, now that kind of changes things because the defensively up front, they're pretty stout if they can stay healthy. Offensive line, you ain't got enough time to find. Calvin Ridley's kind of speedy, but DeAndre Hopkins, you know, they had a good couple of showings. Will Levis was inconsistent, in my opinion, last year. I think statistically inconsistent. One game was beautiful. The next game was kind of like, where was that guy from last week at? But if the offensive line can get him some more time, they put the weapons around him. So now it's basically, hey, you get a year, 2 years to see how it all plays out. Much like Trevor Lawrence, in my opinion, he hasn't lived up to the hype, but when you are touted as a generational quarterback, it's almost impossible to live up to that hype. Like, there's no way Caleb Williams is going to be able to live up to the hype because no matter what, someone's going to be like, well, he didn't win a Super Bowl in his rookie year. Like, okay, well, how many quarterbacks do that? You know what I mean? So for me,
effect.
Yeah, exactly. And he's shown out, you know what I mean? But people can still poke holes of, well, I thought he was going to be better than this. Like, what did you expect him to come into the league and do?
Right. He's 19 years old.
40 and 20 every game.
He's amazing.
Yeah, right. And that's, for me, my whole thing was, is he going to be able to, is his durability going to be able to be there? Well, it's been there to this point for the most part. Now, Pop has given him some days off, and there's been an injury. I think that he missed, a game every now and again, but yeah,
that's just the NBA.
That is the NBA. And that makes it tough. It's tough for the fans, but yeah, for me, I would go with Andrew Luck because yes, not entirely mobile, but mobile when he needed to be. And then I would go Trevor Lawrence number 2, and Caleb Williams after that. Still, I think the kid is talented. My biggest concern is almost lining up perfectly there with what AG said, and not necessarily going to say that he's weak, but how is he going to be a leader of NFL players, especially that offense over there now? But, you know, one of the beautiful things is bringing in a guy like Keenan Allen to be your wide receiver. Caveman Rick, before we get over to the phone line, who would you go with?
Quick answer for that would be Andrew Luck.
Andrew Luck,
most
all right.
proven, smart kid, got a big, brain. That's what I want, something cerebral.
Yeah, and whichever direction you go, I think that it is all fair. You can call or text us at 850-215-6290. We have Carl. Carl, you're riding along with the Afternoon Underdogs. What do you have on this particular question?
Well, I actually had a little different question.
Okay.
I was wondering what y'all thoughts were about the Chicago Bears' first-round draft pick if they picked J.J. McCarthy, since he played for Michigan and he's used to the cold weather.
Yeah, I mean, they might as well just draft a kicker.
Golly. I don't think that J.J. McCarthy is. Everything is lined up for it to be Caleb Williams. I feel like it would be hugely surprising if it was not Caleb Williams. Not saying that J.J. McCarthy couldn't be one of the better quarterbacks out of this draft class. I just don't think that it will end up being that. Are you a Chicago Bears fan, Carl?
No, I'm not a Chicago Bear fan, but, I was just thinking, with the cold weather, with Michaela being out of California, could he handle the cold weather?
He's from D.C. originally.
Yeah, he's from Washington, D.C. Yeah. As far as J.J. McCarthy goes, to me, he's like Daniel Jones. You see some potential, some upside there, but will it actually mean that he's going to be a serviceable NFL quarterback, starting quarterback? No. Yeah. Backup, maybe. Good scout guy. He can get out and run around and do all the little things and pretend to be the other team's starter. But I don't foresee him being basically anything in the NFL other than a backup.
And if you are the Bears and let's say that was your intentions, those were your intentions to go after J.J. McCarthy, then you're trading out of that number 1 overall pick.
Right, and you have number 9 already. Yeah. So if you wanted to take him,
that's true.
You could take him at 9 and then take Harrison at 1 or whomever you wanted to take. So,
do you think that there's any chance that it ends up being Jaden Daniels or Drake May at 1 overall rather than Caleb Williams? I mean, I think it's all. I don't know what the odds are. I don't have them right in front of me, but the safe bet would be Caleb Williams, and I think it's almost 100%.
If you're Ryan Poles and you pass up on that, and he ends up being the talent everybody thinks, you just might as well bury yourself.
Bury yourself there. That was punny. That was punny, Carl. Hey, thanks so much for the call, Carl.
All right, y'all have a good one.
Hey, you do the same, my friend. You can call or text. It's 850-215-6290. The Braves have been postponed. Opening day was supposed to be tomorrow. We were going to have that right here, covered starting at 1 o'clock for a 2:05 first pitch, but that has been moved to Friday. The weather is looking pretty ugly tomorrow in Philadelphia, but supposed to be sunshine and like 56 degrees in Philly on Friday afternoon. So there's not going to be a doubleheader. How the schedule was laying out was the Braves and Phillies were going to be playing on Thursday, off on Friday, then game on Saturday, game on Sunday. So it works out this way. And with that being said, so we will have a show tomorrow afternoon. And so we're not going to have a show on Friday. So we'll get you out to the March Madness coverage tomorrow right after the show at 6 o'clock for a 6:09 tip. And then Friday, we'll go straight from the Braves into March Madness coverage. So with that being said, Race to Talladega is going to be at 4:15 on the Afternoon Underdogs. It's going to be at 4:15 and 5:15. So we're going to give you the 2 opportunities to make sure that we have 5 opportunities right here on the Afternoon Underdogs. How you play the Race to Talladega is you listen to the Coach James Hale Show, 7:15, 8:15 in the morning. They are going to give you a code word of the day. When you hear it, you text the code word and your racing name to 850-215-6290. Then listen in at 12:15 with the Inside Drive and 5:15 with the Afternoon Underdogs. Except for tomorrow, it's going to be 4:15 and 5:15. If we announce your name, race to the phones and call 850-215-6290. How long it takes you to call us back is your qualifying time. The fastest qualifying time each week wins the Race to Talladega. The contest is going to be running for 3 weeks, this week, next week, and then we'll be wrapping it up April 12th. Right now in the lead is Kathleen with 15 seconds. She made her call today on the Inside Drive. In our local news, the number 5. Did you have something?
I was just going to say, so Drew Gorman, if you're listening, be here tomorrow. And by the way, I can set my clock to his text message of, can you please let me in?
There you go.
So can we get my man a code here?
Yeah, we'll have to figure something out. Maybe just leave the back door cracked for him or something. It's funny because last week, we didn't have a show and I forgot to tell Drew, so he hits me with his ETA of like 4:30 at some time around like 2 o'clock in the like 3:45 or so, and I call him. I'm like, "Hey, bud, I hope you're not very close right now." And obviously he wasn't because it was 4:20. But I was like, "I hope you're not past your house because we don't have a show today because of March Madness." He was like, "Oh, all good, man. I'll see you next week." And I was like, "No, you won't see us next week either because we've got the Braves and then March Madness." And then I had to text him today and be like, "Actually, how's that Thursday looking for you tomorrow, man?"
Drew's so sweet, man. What a sweet dude.
Yeah. Hey, he's a great dude, a great friend, man, and some exciting news I'm sure that Kyle and Drew will be sharing here in the future. So look forward to all of that. The number 5 seed Lady Commodores on their way to Casper, Wyoming. They're going to be playing in the NJCAA Division I Women's Basketball National Championship. You can join Gulf Coast Athletics at Beef O'Brady's in Lynn Haven. They're going to be cheering on the ladies during their first game, which will be March 28th, tomorrow at 3:15. They'll be taking on the winner of the Southern Idaho, which is the 12 seed, and the Connor State game, which is the 21 seed. If you cannot attend the watch party. You can catch the games on ESPN Plus. Also in JUCO basketball in the men's national tournament in the second round, Hutchinson, Kansas takes down Chipola 79-71. In high school baseball, Arnold staying undefeated. They take down South Walton 3-2. Mariana beats FSU 12-1. Cottondale beats Franklin 7-3. And in high school softball, Weewa shellacks Port St. Joe 15-0. Hey, Kyle. Lately on Wednesdays and Thursdays, one of the days, we have Old School on the line with us.
Oh.
Yeah,
He's
man.
been on with us a couple of times on Wednesdays.
I was going to try to get him today, but I was like, man, with the amount, like with us having 4 voices in the studio today, it's going to make it hard to, and we're only going until 5:30 because then we're going to take you out to Orlando Magic for the coverage of the Warriors and the Orlando Magic for a 6 p.m. tip tonight.
That's new.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Well, I mean, probably I haven't been here in 67 days.
67 days, but who's counting?
Right.
High school baseball tonight. Bluntstown is 3-8. They're going to be hosting Port St. Joe, who's 5-4. First pitch tonight at 5:30. Jay is 4-5. They'll be hosting 3-6 Freeport. First pitch at 6 p.m. Rutherford is 3-6. They're hosting Gadsden County, who is 2-7-1 for a 6 p.m. start. And then Bay 7-5, hosting 6-7. Mosley, they get underway at 6:30 this evening. And in high school softball, Sneeds is 6-3. They're hosting 9-4 Franklin County. That game started just 18 minutes ago at 4 p.m. You've got Niceville hosting Whitney Young at 5 p.m. Bozeman is 3-6 in softball. They're hosting 6-7 Walton at 5 p.m. Weewa 5-6. They're hosting Florida State University High School at 6 p.m. And then a big one between North Bay Haven and Rutherford. North Bay Haven off to a great start at 11-2. They're hosting 1-8 Rutherford tonight at 7 p.m. What have you guys thought of the tournament? I know that you weren't very interested in it heading into the tournament, mainly because Louisville not being in there. But what did you get to catch any of the games? Anything?
Yeah, I watched. Yeah, I watched quite a bit. SEC really kind of shocking to see them kind of struggle. I mean, now we're down to Tennessee and Alabama, the only 2 remaining. Big Ten, maybe some shocking teams in there, but. UConn's tough, man. The Houston game was amazing.
Oh, the Houston Texas A&M game?
I'm really looking forward to Houston Duke. I think that's going to be a phenomenal game. I think the Tennessee matchup as well is going to be high scoring. So there's some really good games coming up this weekend. It's a shame that Louisville's not in it, because I feel like, it's a program that should be in it every year.
Yeah, that record. Surely get them in there.
No, but I'm just saying, not that they earned it this year. I'm just saying that, with the pedigree. But it's been exciting. It's been fun. And you still got some blue bloods in there, right? So that's kind of been the thing that everybody's harped on with the NIL and transfer portal is, there's so much more parity, and it's like, okay, well, let's look down the list here. We still got Duke, we still got North Carolina, you still got UConn in there. There's still some really big names. So,
I mean, Gonzaga's still there too, which is maybe not necessarily a blue blood of college basketball, but a powerhouse.
Yeah,
for sure.
If you're going to that many Elite Eights in the last decade and a half, you're elite.
No,
purple blood. Almost there. Yeah. Almost there. What do you think, real quick, before we take a break, and we'll dive into some Major League Baseball predictions for the divisions. We'll look at some of the awards as well, and then World Series predictions and record predictions for our team. What do you think of Pat Kelsey? Not official, but looking to be the hire for Louisville.
I think we can say it's official now. The press conference was set and everything, so it's a 5-year deal. Man, I don't know. There's so many other coaches out there that I felt like Louisville probably deserved to have in terms of what they can offer, what they can pay. Not only the coaches, but their kids. But, I mean, he's young, he's energetic, he's fun. I was telling Kyle before we went on, he's Mike McDaniel, but just not on the spectrum. He's really fun, really energetic. He's very smart, and I think he's capable. It's just, can you recruit?
This is the Afternoon Underdogs. You're listening to ESPN Northwest Florida. 2 Cincinnati Reds fans in the building. What record will they predict for their Cincinnati Reds and their amazing training staff? This is the Afternoon Underdogs. We'll be right back.
ESPN Northwest Florida. We're taking the inside drive.
So who do you think that's in it now? Like if you had to pick,
I'm still saying UConn.
Are you?
Yeah. Although Purdue is that big man, Edey, from, if I pronounce his name correctly, from Purdue is a beast. And I love what his coach said yesterday in the press conference talking about, oh, he's just good because he's big. No, he's good because he's good.
Join Ryan Mulvey.
Thank you very little.
Middays 11 to 1 on ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good afternoon. This is Joanna on ESPN Northwest Florida with your forecast on this Wednesday. A variety of very light showers and some sun the remainder of the day, with a moderate breeze at 13 miles per hour coming out of the north, and look for it to be 73. Tonight, there will be mostly clear skies with the temperature reaching 57. Sunny tomorrow with a high of 70. This weather is sponsored by Mid-South Lumber, the best little lumber yard in Panama City. Thank you for tuning into ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
The road is yours, so let your spring adventures begin and discover the new Kia at Bill Berg Kia. Stop by today and check out our 2024 SUV family and take a test drive. See all the new features that elevate any adventure. Now offering 4.75% APR for up to 48 months on the purchase of a new 2024 Kia Sorento EX. Get that rugged good look with luxury and the perfect balance of comfort, safety, and technology. Bill Berg Kia, the home of that 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty. Stop by anytime and see us at 2435 East 15th Street or anytime at BillBirdKiaPanamaCity.com. We'll give you the peace of mind that you can trust.
Offer from Kia Finance America for the purchase of a new 2024 Kia Sorento EX with $2,294 per month per 1,000 finance and 48 months quality limit. No down payment required. Cannot be combined with other finance offers. The 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty is the Bill Berg Kia warranty. See dealer for complete details. Offer for well-qualified buyers. Must take delivery from dealer stock through 4/30/24.
They're number one in the men's room.
I hope this place comes with toilet paper.
The Afternoon Underdogs.
Oh, geez, this is going to be a photo finish.
On ESPN Northwest Florida.
And we are back. It's the Afternoon Underdogs here on ESPN Northwest Florida. Can you feel the magic? It's the Hall & Hearts ESPN Northwest Florida Magic Express. Ride with us on the ultimate road trip. We're taking a busload of ESPN Northwest Florida listeners to see the Orlando Magic play the Chicago Bulls Sunday, April 7th. I saw you get really excited right there, but I knew as soon as I said April 7th, I was going to change things because WrestleMania. So if you want to watch WrestleMania, you go to Kyle's house. You watch the game from a presidential suite that comes with food, drinks, and a free ride on the Magic Express. To enter, just open the ESPN Northwest Florida app and click Enter Contest. That's sponsored by Hall & Hearts, PCB Hobby, and ESPN Northwest Florida. You will have to pick up those tickets at the studios.
Is that a Magic school bus then?
I guess it absolutely would be. I guess it would be.
There you go.
Yeah, I used to watch that show back in the day.
Yeah, not me, but I mean, yeah, I'm familiar with it.
Well,
heard about it.
Great reference there. We appreciate that, Caveman Rick. All right, let's get into some Major League Baseball. Again, race to Talladega. That is going to be 4:15 and 5:15 just for tomorrow only, because we will not have an afternoon show this coming Friday because we've got opening day for the Atlanta Braves, and then we're going straight into coverage for the Sweet 16 of March Madness. All right, let's start with record predictions for your team. Now, I believe when I was doing the podcast with Sam, which hasn't dropped yet for the Braves Dugout podcast, when we did our record predictions, I think he went 102 and 60. I'm going 101 and 61. 101 and 61 for the Atlanta Braves, which could be a little high, which, by the way, Players Tribune just put out a article on Ronald Acuna Jr.
I saw you tweeted that.
Oh,
yeah.
man, that was a great article. And, you know, there's a lot of people that see the way that he plays the game, and especially with him being young, and it's which baseball's kind of headed in that direction. But it was fun to read about his path to Major League Baseball, becoming an Atlanta Brave, and just someone who, if I didn't like him already, I mean, I liked him a lot already. Obviously, MVP last year has been a great force for the Atlanta Braves, but after reading that story, like him even more now. So if you got some time, just type in Ronald Acuna Jr. Player Tribune and take some time to read that article. But record predictions for your team. I'll be. And which one of you Reds guys want to go first with your prediction? Because I'm. If y'all want to just argue about the Reds for the next 5 minutes, take your time.
I think we're actually, well, according to you at least, I mean, we have our differences a lot when we talk about our team, but I think we're pretty.
I think y'all are more aligned than not
here. I've got a best case scenario, I've got a worst case scenario, and I've got a solid prediction. Because the way this team looks now, as opposed to how we thought it was going to look 3 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm. Since Marte's suspension, yeah.
Marte's suspension just created a domino effect of just pure negativity for this team. McLean now more than likely out for the season. TJ Friedel, who was in certain arguments should have been an all-star last year.
He's rated as a top 9 center fielder in baseball.
Right, and so you're talking at least 6 to 8 weeks without him, but in red terms, that means he'll be out till June.
Next June.
Yeah, next June. Yeah, because where's Nick Lodolo? Out, not pitching, right? Brandon Williamson not pitching. The Reds, they had the big needs. They didn't have enough plate appearances for Joey Votto, but Bubba Thompson made the 26th-man roster as of 10 minutes ago. This is an organization, man, that I truthfully, I wish sometimes that I had the gullet, I guess, to just say, all right, I'm just going to pick a new team. But obviously not going to do that. Never will. Love the Reds. It's, yeah. Basically, I think the Reds are going to go 77 and 85. I think they're going to finish 8 games below 500 with this current roster. Now that's my true prediction, 77 and 85, which I think will be good for third in the Central. Now, they are an Ellie De La Cruz breakout from, I think, 88 and 74 is the cap here. That's 14 games above 500, and that probably wins the Central. 88 and 74. They are one injury away from 70 and 92.
Yeah.
And I'm not confident in the pitching staff. It's the biggest need going into the offseason. They addressed it with somebody who hasn't pitched in 2 years. A bullpen guy who's going to be the third guy in the rotation. I'm not happy about it. And I don't think this is going to be as good a season as we were hoping.
I'm a little bit more optimistic, man. I like some of the pieces that they did add. Did they go out and make a splash? No, they didn't. Their big splash was Jeimer Candelario, who I was high on last year. Had a phenomenal season in Washington before he got traded to the Chicago Cubs, where he performed pretty well. Again, the Cubs were Seiya Suzuki fly ball away from making it to the postseason. But
yeah, replacing the Diamondbacks, essentially.
Right. I'm at 91 and 71, and yeah, and here's my reason why.
I'm sorry, but Kyle's look right there just like...
Here is my reason why.
All right.
I don't think this Reds pitching staff can stay injured the way it did last year. You've got Andrew Abbott, who now has a full season under his belt, so he's got that stamina built up. Nick Martinez, who they brought over from the Padres, who Kyle referenced earlier as the reliever that they're making the third starter, has shown promise as a starter. I think Frankie Montas gets back to his Oakland A's days, not his New York Yankees days. He's nasty, nasty, nasty. There's a reason he's an open day starter instead of Hunter Green. Right, Hunter Green just signed a big extension last year for the season. You would figure he would be the opening day guy. Frankie Montas is that guy for a reason. There is help coming along the way. If there is an injury, Rhett Lauder, who they drafted 7th overall, is absolutely filthy. They also have Connor Phillips, who we saw a little bit last year, who's got another year under his belt. So there's help coming in terms of pitching. We do get potentially Nick Lodolo back. There's other arms in the bullpen. Sam Moll, who we traded for at the trade deadline from the A's last year, lefty specialist. The offense is going to be predicated upon Ellie De La Cruz. And it was going to be Matt McLean, but now that he is out, because Matt McLean is arguably the best player on that team.
And why isn't Matt McLean going to be playing again?
Shoulder. He had surgery.
Yeah. And who do you blame that on?
I mean, I don't blame it on anybody. I blame the way it was handled on the Reds.
on the training staff. Right. But yeah, all of a sudden your pitching staff is just going to stay healthy.
Well, again, I don't think that they can have that kind of bad luck 2 years in a row.
All right, that makes sense.
I'm betting on that.
We're off to a damn good start.
well, but again, though, Ellie De La Cruz, when he gets on base, he does what? He wreaks havoc. Yeah. Right? Everybody feeds off that.
He's one of maybe 4 or 5 players in baseball that can win a game by himself.
100%. And, I think Christian Encarnacion Strand, who's looked really, really good in spring training, is going to have a phenomenal year. Spencer Steer is looking really good. And that division is very, very winnable. The only team in that division that scares me is the Chicago Cubs. Because if the Chicago Cubs young guys figure it out, like a Pete Crow Armstrong, Owen Casey, even a Matt Shaw, who they just drafted, if those 3 guys figure it out and get into that lineup every day, they're going to be very, 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 very tough to beat.
I have a feeling that this MLB segment is just going to last till the till the end
I
of
could
the
go
show.
all day, brother.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt.
But I got the Reds winning the division at 91 and 71.
Okay.
And could they be 70 wins? Absolutely. Absolutely. You and I have talked about this before. The Braves could be falling off a cliff because guess what? They have nobody behind their starting 9. That's it. That's all they have. There's nothing coming in the way of support.
The back end of that rotation, I don't know.
And that's any team, right? Any team.
Outside of the Dodgers.
Right.
Dodgers, best roster, best farm, no big deal, no World Series. Unless it's 2020, which still got to give them credit for the World Series because it's a World Series.
Everybody had the same opportunity.
Exactly. Caveman Rick, your Philadelphia Phillies, give me a record prediction for them. But before that, real quick, Tyler Spalding says, I think the Reds will rally around Green and De La Cruz. That home run shattering his window in spring training was probably the best thing to happen to that team in a crazy cosmic way. I was like, wait, what is this talk about? And then I remember seeing the tweets about that.
I don't know if there's many teams with a better locker room camaraderie
than the Atlanta Braves.
Well, then what the Reds have been able to build with the basketball stuff, and they had a lot of team bonding during the spring, so maybe that's going to be a saving grace. And go ahead. Sorry.
No, no worries. My Phillies, I think they're going to do pretty well this year. I've got them going 98-64.
98-64,
yeah,
I like that.
That's a little wishful thinking. Hopefully, we can have a really good season. But I can see it happening.
All right,
I think if Nola gets back to form, absolutely 98.
Absolutely.
I mean, that 1-2-3 punch of Nola, Wheeler, and Ranger.
Yeah, and a murder's row on that batting order.
One of my favorite shortstops in the game, honestly, is Trey Turner. Man, yeah,
and best home field advantage. Best road fans in the game.
All right, enough of that. Enough of that. And you're allowed to have it because the last 2 years, especially last year, the year before is all right, you bounced us in the playoffs, but we're going to get you back this year.
You know what I like seeing? Like memes and stuff, right?
Yes.
I love seeing the memes of people in their home stadiums tweeting out or making memes or just saying stuff about the Philly fans. I've seen stuff where there's a Philly fan in a seat taking a picture of the fan in front of him who's a Braves fan or something, texting whoever, these annoying Philly fans, oh my God, blah, blah, blah. But you know what? We are doing our job. That's what we're there for.
Yeah.
Who do y'all think has the second best home field advantage in all of baseball, behind the Oakland A's? I mean, is there another place that's as raucous as what Philly is in pro baseball?
I think that what Baltimore has been able to build has been, I think.
And that's going to get even stronger this year, possibly.
Yeah.
Baltimore
absolutely.
strong, and you're still not going to have an 8-year-old telling your mom to do something or whatever over in Baltimore like you're in Philly, though.
I think the Dodger Stadium is electric too. Chavez Ravine out there, they sell out every game. I mean, there's a reason that they lead in attendance, not just because their stadium's bigger, but they actually fill it. They get kind of wild and crazy. But I think Arizona might be sneaky. Arizona might be a sneaky place just because of that dome that they have out there, and we saw it in the postseason. It was pretty wild. So here, I'd say Arizona maybe.
There you go. I mean, Tampa and Oakland right there. I hate it for Tampa, man. Like it makes a lot more sense for Oakland to not have this.
Is it all geography though for Tampa? Just where that stadium is,
and we've talked about this
the
a million
inability
times.
to get in and out. Is that all it is?
No,
it's Florida.
It can't just be that.
I think that, dude. I think that might have a lot to do with it because went there for the Royal Rumble.
Okay,
which was they had 49,000 there, which is the first time that they've had over 40,000 in that stadium since 2014.
Which you don't even get 40,000 at most Major League Baseball stadiums.
So anyway, it took us 2 hours to get out of the parking lot.
Yeah.
2 hours.
I can't say that's the only reason, though.
It's got to be a large reason.
I think I would say
ease
that
of access is huge.
When you look at the Bucks, when you look at the Lightning, there's always sold out. The Lightning we're a playoff team.
Yeah.
But they're not the Lightning this year, and they're still selling out every game.
All right, so I would say let's call it 1A, 1B, and we'll call it that one 1B, ease of access, and eventually they'll get a new stadium, and we'll see if this still affects it. But for me, living down there for a while, there is a ton. I mean, Yankees minor league. Legends Field being there, right? Like people going down there to retire. The amount when the Yankees and the Red Sox are playing there, the access all of a sudden doesn't matter then because it's packed out then.
But
so I think
in Tampa.
But they're also in Washington.
No. I'm talking about.
You're not talking about Steinbrenner. You're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm saying like they're all right. So their home bases or their spring training bases there for the Yankees, and that helps. But then a lot of people from New York and from Boston go down there to move, and so all of a sudden when the ease of access is not such a big deal whenever the Yankees and the Red Sox are in town, and that's probably going to start happening with Baltimore as well, right? Because I don't know how well their fans travel, but for certain teams when they're playing the Rays, all of a sudden the Trop's packed out, and then there's other teams where they're just not there. So I think that it's a bit to do with the fandom, the types of fans that you have there.
Gotcha. Yeah, Northeast transplants.
Mm-hmm. Northeast Nats. Not
Neats. Yeah, Neats.
Neats.
Yeah.
You guys are neat there. Johnny Yankee Seed says Yankee Stadium and Fenway are rough.
Yeah, racist rough, like Fenway.
He says like Philly.
Left, right?
Tyler says bleacher creatures. They even boo Judge. Those Yankee fans are nuts. Tyler also says write a letter to the A's asking for some fan swag. They may include a handwritten letter thanking you for your fandom along with the deed to the Coliseum.
Nice.
Right State Chris says, finally the Orioles owner is gone. A lot of people didn't like him, not to speak ill of the dead, but it is the truth. He also says make sure the Phillies don't have significant games in September, so when October comes around, they will be complacent too. And I think that the Braves need to have, and I don't know how do you plan for the future to have significant games at the end of September.
Load management.
Yeah, I mean, right. But that's one of the things, when you're playing a month's worth of games and they're not as significant as what other teams who are trying to claw their way back into it. And then the other thing is don't focus on setting records and stuff like that. Focus on playing good baseball no matter what. Win the games. Win, baby, win. All right, so we did a heck of a job getting some division predictions done for that particular
jump back into
segment.
it after the break.
Oh, that's exactly what we're going to do. You know how we roll, baby. It's the Tangent Underdogs right here on ESPN Northwest Florida. Coming up next, we might just get into some division predictions for Major League Baseball. Drop yours in the chat or text us 850-215-6290. We'll be right back.
ESPN Northwest Florida. The NCAA Men's Basketball Championship Tournament plays here.
That one is good. Gorky did it again.
The Panhandle's destination for live play-by-play.
Up and under. Got it. What a play.
Listen to the madness.
March Madness continues.
Exclusively on ESPN Northwest Florida.
The Grambling State Tigers storm back to win.
Good afternoon. This is Joanna on ESPN Northwest Florida with your forecast on this Wednesday. A variety of very light showers and some sun the remainder of the day, with a moderate breeze at 13 miles per hour coming out of the north, and look for it to be 73. Tonight, there will be mostly clear skies with the temperature reaching 57. Sunny tomorrow with a high of 70. This weather is sponsored by Mid-South Lumber, the best little lumber yard in Panama City. Thank you for tuning into ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Bestway Portable Buildings has been your portable building specialist since 1989. Before you invest your hard-earned money someplace else, owner Jason Mulder invites you to stop by Bestway and get a quote on just about any size building. And whether you buy with Bestway or not, it's worth the trip just to meet Bestway Buddy. Say hello, buddy. Good boy. Bestway Portable Buildings, just north of Harts Marine on 231, and online at bestwayportablebuildings.com. The best in portable, period. Tell them Buddy sent ya.
Hi folks, it's Tracy with Tracy's Fine Jewelry and Coin and Bullion Reserves. Did you know that we do more than just sell some of the finest jewelry in town? We can engrave on your wedding band, locket, Yeti cup, or almost anything. Need your watch battery changed? We can do that too. Our expert will even evaluate your coin collection. And of course, we always pay top dollar for your old gold and silver jewelry. See, there's a lot more to Tracy's Fine Jewelry than a lot of pretty sparkly things. Come and see us today at Tracy's Fine Jewelry.
It's go time all the time. Sports talk around the clock.
Oh my gosh!
Now back to the Afternoon Underdogs. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
There we go. There will come a payday. You guys are riding with. Let's just let it ride for a second.
There will come a payday someday.
Someday! You guys are riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. This is ESPN Northwest Florida. I'm David Hayes. Cut the music! I'm just kidding. I'm David Hayes along with AG, Caveman Rick, and Kyle Wright. We're going to dive into some MLB division predictions here. So if you guys would like to hear yours read off, Tyler's already sent his in, so we'll go into those. In fact, I'll even include you guys in the spreadsheet that I am creating live while we're here on the air. So, and I'll try to get the rest of the Afternoon Underdogs group in. So who to have yesterday? Well, Tyler doesn't follow much baseball. Me and Max already did ours. So I'll get Brian's in. Obviously, you can go a full week into the season and still do division predictions, right? And still be way off. You look like you got something there.
Yeah, my
AG.
buddy Jimmy on YouTube says AL Central White Sox will not be last place. I have no other predictions. Laugh out loud.
Hot take still right there, right? I mean, I think they're at a guaranteed rate of finishing in last place. So we'll see how that plays out for the Chicago White Sox. So always a team that I'm I wouldn't say fond of, but my grandma Hayes, R.I.P. to her, she was a White Sox fan until we moved to Tampa. Then she became, my grandma Hayes would watch every single Rays game, but she liked the White Sox. So it was, that was one of those teams that I just kind of not an affinity for, but because
good teams though.
Yeah,
she did.
Yeah.
Not what we have here recently.
What was it? What was the year that they didn't win the World Series? Did they? Was it with Konerko? Yeah, I think they did win the World Series. What was
the Whites? They beat the Astros, right? When the Astros were in the.
So when Ozzie Guillen was the manager, right?
I don't know. So Dave, you got it?
I remember. Yeah, the White Sox did. Was it Mark Burley was there?
2005.
Was it a little before Mark Burley?
Verlander.
Yeah, 2005. Verlander on the White Sox.
No, he was Tigers.
Yeah, Detroit Tigers, and it was over Houston, good memory right there. Yeah,
when Houston was in the Central,
and they swept them. They swept them 4-0 at that point in time. Yeah, good stuff there. All right, so let's dive into this because we're gonna. Do you want to? The only way we're gonna talk WrestleMania is if I let you talk right now.
No, you're good. Me and Brian Haddad will hit it Monday.
There you go. Yeah, absolutely. And we're gonna have Pharaoh and Monty on with us at 5:40 on Monday. So maybe if you are you working Monday?
Morning.
I'll
come right in.
Well, then there you go, bro. Come do Monday with us.
Yeet.
All right, yeet. I don't know what
it's a wrestling thing.
Oh, okay. Hey, no doubt about it. Wrestling Against Cancer, number 9, April 27th. Get your tickets now. Tickets are only $12. Kids get in for $8. 5 and under free. Doors open at 5:30. Bell time 6:30. That's going to be at Bay Haven Charter Academy.
Are you emceeing that?
I would you call that MCing or just announcing?
Ring announcing.
Ring announcing.
Okay.
Ring
He's
announcing.
doing like Tim, like it beat down in Beats this weekend as well, number 2.
Yeah, there you go. That is exactly right, man. And hopefully next year, if Jack allows me to do that again, I think there's going to be some cool storylines.
So do you wear a tux when you do the?
Last year I just wore like I want to do something a little bit more this year. But last year
Canadian
I think,
tuxedo.
What's
right?
that?
Like a denim jean jacket and jeans.
Oh, there you go.
Denim polo or denim button down.
I might have to do that. A Canadian, but I don't know, man. I don't know about a Canadian tux. I'm not trying to put. James Kelly texts in. He says no yeet. What does that mean?
Okay.
Well, that means he understands what it is that you guys are talking about.
What that means. I respect that. Thank
All
you,
right.
James.
Some WWE language there, which has gotten a little bit more.
I will say the only thing I do want to say, like if you're
gotten
out
up
there,
to PG-17, huh?
Yeah. If you have ever thought about going back into watching wrestling, go watch Raw from this past Monday. It was easily the best Raw since the Attitude Era.
So is it like McAfee show?
Yeah, I mean McAfee is on full-time commentary.
Yeah.
On Monday Night Raw now, which is also
so he went from
exciting.
NXT to Raw.
Yeah, well, yeah, he's a full-time.
And took that break, but yeah.
Yep. So he's back on Raw now, full-time. He adds just a fun element to it.
He seems perfect for it.
Dude, he is perfect for it. It's really good.
He's a cartoon character, man, come to life.
That's not a bad way to put it. Johnny Yankee Seed, make sure you text in your division predictions as well so I can keep track of these. For any of our listeners, if you want to put your division predictions in right now, text them to 850-215-6290, and I will try to type these up. The best way would be to text them to 850-215-6290. That way I don't have to go back and try to watch the Facebook video because it makes me, for some reason, most of the time, I would have to fast forward to the end of the video to be able to get all the comments. All right, let's start with the American League West. Kyle, we'll start with you. Who wins the American League West?
I think it's really hard for me not to go with the Astros. I just think they're built a little bit better. They're built for longevity. Some questions, I mean, are they going to trade Framber Valdez? That's kind of been the talk of the offseason in a lot of spots. But for now, he's still there. And once Verlander's able to get back, I don't think he's going to miss too much time. They got a good pitching rotation. They're going to be able to put up numbers. They're just going to be hard to beat, man.
AG, who do you got?
I'm with Kyle there. I think it's the Astros, man. That lineup is disgusting. I mean, if you get Altuve back healthy, you've got Yordan, who is arguably one of the best hitters in baseball. Kyle Tucker is probably the most underrated player in baseball. Keep an eye on the Mariners, though. I think the Mariners are sneaky. They had a couple nice pickups in the offseason, including one Dominic Canzone, who they got from Arizona. I think is actually going to be a stud for them. And then I think J-Rod, who got off to a slow start last year and really, really turned it on at the end of the year. I think he's going to pick up where he left off.
Caveman Rick, who do you have winning the American League West?
I got the Rangers. I think they'll do well again. They might make a run in the playoffs again this postseason. So give me the Rangers.
All right, I'm going to go to Los Angeles. We're not talking the Dodgers.
Wouldn't that be insane if the Angels won the West?
Oh my
after
goodness.
losing the old better.
Yeah. Oh, if we can find some time, we're going to be talking about Ohtani, or at least let you guys talk a little bit about that. I'm stuck between the Astros and the Rangers. I do think that it's essentially a two-horse race over there. But I like the Mariners being added into that mix. The problem is the pitching is going to be great, but that's what you need for the postseason. Is the offense going to be able to bring that balance that they need? Obviously, you got a guy like Julio Rodriguez right there. So could he be the? I mean, can it be for the full 162?
Right, and he hasn't proven that yet, but he's still young, and I think he's fully capable.
I think that it's gonna. Wait, you know what? With Dusty Baker not being there, does that change things for the Astros? Probably not, but because of that, I'm going to change my pick last second. I've already typed in Rangers or Astros. I'm going to change it, and I'm going to go with the Rangers based on that. And then who's the other Rookie of the Year candidate that they got? Not Evan Carter. Oh, Wyatt Langford. Yeah, so they're young, but they also got a lot of veteran talent around there as well. Adolis Garcia can hit him out of the park with everyone else, and the pitching staff is decent as well. Now, not having Jordan Montgomery, How big of a X factor is that going to be? And who was it that Tyler had? I'll have to scroll back up to his real quick, which we've started to get a lot of comments, so that makes it tougher. Oh, he's going with the Mariners. Tyler is going with the Mariners. We'll move on to the Central. Who do you got? We'll start with you again, Kyle, just because it makes it easier for my typing here.
No, I got Cleveland winning the Central this year. I think Minnesota's going to take a big step back, losing Sonny Gray. I do think Royce Lewis will have a good year for them this year.
If he can stay healthy.
If he can stay healthy, that's a big thing for them and him. But I think Cleveland's a little more well-rounded, man. They have probably the best closer in the American League, truthfully. They still got a good top of the rotation there. They've got some good young talent. They're all hotheads, but they play well together. So I think Cleveland's going to win the Central.
I like that pick. I think that's the safe pick.
And like 84 wins, by the way.
I think, well, yeah, but I mean, that's the safe pick, right? Is Ken Jimenez bounce back from a not so good year last year? Cal Manzardo, the kid that they traded for from Tampa, can he put up some monster numbers in Cleveland as well? I went with a little bit more of a risky pick here. I went with the Detroit Tigers.
All right.
And that's based on their youth, right? I mean, Colt Keith signed an 8-year deal, hadn't stepped a foot on a blade of grass in a Major League ballpark before he inked that deal. Parker Meadows, a kid they brought up at the end of last year. Spencer Torkelson had a phenomenal year at the end of the year last year. Can he keep it up? Can Riley Green stay healthy? And then you look at their pitching rotation, right, with Tariq Skubal, who is absolutely phenomenal. I think Matt Manning can get the job done as well. I really, really like this Tigers ball club. I think they're slept on, and I feel like they're not going to be slept on for very long.
All right, Caveman and the Central.
Well, the two teams that I was going between just got mentioned, so just make it real simple. I'll just go with the Guardians. GWAR, Guardians.
All right, Guardians for you. So we've got a Guardians, the Tigers, a Guardians. For some reason, it's been 10 years since the Kansas City Royals have been to the World Series. There's something that's like, this is the one division, or maybe of two divisions, right? Both of the Centrals, where honestly, if you picked a team, they got the same opportunity as every other team. I do think that it's the Guardians and the Tigers, but this year, can Buxton stay healthy? Who knows? That's yet to be seen. Pablo Lopez over there, right?
He's sneaky good.
Yeah,
He is really, really good.
I'm going to go with Minnesota to end up winning the American League Central. We'll see how all of that ends up playing out. And there's another player that I'm thinking of that's...
There's Matt Wallner that they brought up last year in right field. You got Royce Lewis.
That's who I'm thinking of. Royce Lewis, if he stays healthy, he is a game changer. 100%. So I'm going to go on just to try to be a little different there in a very winnable division, and I'll go with the Twins. In fact, Tyler Spalding also going with the Minnesota Twins to win the American League Central. We got 3 minutes here, so there's no way that we can...
Jeez.
I know.
Goes fast.
It definitely goes fast, and we've only got 28 minutes in the next segment, along with the race to Talladega that has to be done at 5:15. So make sure that you get to your phone lines over there. Do y'all think we can really do
Yeah, let's go.
All right, American League East here. I don't want to take away you guys' descriptions and stuff like that.
I'm a little lower on the O's. I think it's hard to replicate that success. I'm going with the Yankees. I think they're going to score a lot of runs.
All right.
I'm going Orioles. Too much talent.
All right, we don't got to be that quick now, brother.
I'm going Orioles. A lot of talent, a lot of youth, and like I said, what's going on in Baltimore right now, it's a big reason for the fans and everybody to get behind them.
I think that's a good point, man, and I'm really stuck. The Yankees, Orioles, and you've got to add the Rays. I don't care. It's not about the names on that roster. It never has been. Cash has got them playing always has them playing some baseball that is worthy of discussion without the names on the roster. Now, the big issue for me is Glasnow being gone, which... Hey, he's by this time of the year.
They're going to be leaning on Eflin. They're going to be leaning on Baz. Yeah. And Baz coming off his Tommy John. Can he come back? I like the Rays lineup offensively. I think Josh Lau is very, very slept on. But I feel like the Rays aren't going to. I think they're going to do what they did last year.
Wild card.
Start off hot and then just kind of dwindle.
Okay. All right. Yeah, and then, man, you mentioned that about Baltimore Strong with the Francis Scott Key Bridge yesterday, and there's just something about when those type of situations happen and it affects the city in such a way, and then the teams start playing very inspired ball, be it baseball, whatever sport it is at that point in time. I think that's going to have me going with the Orioles. The thing is the Yankees offensively are going to be phenomenal, and again, that's your regular season powerhouse right there, but then you get into the postseason, and we'll see. Garrett Cole could be back, but who's going to be that number 2 guy for him? You know what I'm going to do here is I'm going to split the difference. I'm going to go against my gut of saying the Orioles, and I'm going to say because of the offense, if it stays healthy, especially with me having Juan Soto pegged as the AL MVP, I'm going to go ahead and take the Yankees there. That'll split the difference here in the house, and we've got our guy Tyler Spalding. He is taking the Baltimore Orioles, so he will break the tie there. 3 Orioles, 2 Yankees. So we really don't have enough time here for another one. So what I will do is tell you guys about the race to Talladega. Listen to the Coach Hale Show mornings at 7:15 and 8:15. We're going to give you a code word of the day. When you hear that code word, text it and your racing name to 850-215-6290. Then you listen at 12:15 with the Inside Drive and 5:15 with the Underdogs. If we announce your name, race to the phones and call 850-215-6290. How long it takes you to call back is your qualifying time. The fastest qualifying time each week wins the race to Talladega. So far, our fastest qualifier is Kathleen. She had 15 seconds this afternoon at it was this afternoon at 12:15. This afternoon at 5:15, we're going to be announcing another name. So make sure you are close to your phone. The contest running until April 12th. The fastest qualifying time each week wins 2 tickets to the Geico 500. That's going to be Sunday, April 21st. We're right back after these messages.
ESPN Northwest Florida has your chance to win a pair of tickets to the Geico 500. Join Coach Hale mornings at 7:15 and 8:15 to enter. The race to Talladega. Then at 12:15 and 5:15, listen for your name called. If we announce your name, race to the phones. How long it takes you to call 850-215-6290 is your qualifying time. The fastest qualifying times win a pair of tickets to Talladega, right here from ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good afternoon. This is Joanna on ESPN Northwest Florida with your forecast on this Wednesday. A variety of very light showers and some sun the remainder of the day, with a moderate breeze at 13 miles per hour coming out of the north, and look for it to be 73. Tonight, there will be mostly clear skies with the temperature reaching 57. Sunny tomorrow with a high of 70. This weather is sponsored by Mid-South Lumber, the best little lumber yard in Panama City. Thank you for tuning into ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Visit the newly remodeled Mid-South Lumber Hardware and Feed Store in Youngstown. They have a full line of plumbing, electrical, hardware, and tools for your DIY home projects, as well as lumber and animal feed. Now offering not only baby chicks and a full line of poultry supplies, but also bunnies and parakeets. They also carry a wide selection of Duplin wines and gourmet products, so you don't have to drive to the beach. Come see us at Mid-South Lumber on Highway 231 in Youngstown.
WPLQ Port St. Joe, WGSX Lynn, powered by Panama City Toyota.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Your biggest investment is your home. Protect it while also improving its appearance with Earthworks of Northwest Florida. We have sand, mulch, gravel, or lay down decorative stone, all available for pickup and delivery. Discover your dream landscape with Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Imagine the moment you proudly pull up to your home that you've worked so hard for, enhanced by quality mulch, decorative stones, and more. Let's make it happen today. Request a quote online at earthworkspc.com or swing by the office at 2005 Industrial Drive. Love the land you live on.
He stuck his head in the microwave and chanted Hot Pocket. Caveman Rick is part of the Afternoon Underdogs.
Hope you're drunk or heading home to a trailer.
On ESPN Northwest Florida.
Welcome back. Hour number 2 of the Afternoon Underdogs. Here in about 28 minutes, we're going to get you to a break, and then we'll take you to the coverage of the Golden State Warriors and the Orlando Magic. We are your home for select games of the Orlando Magic, and also we've got a way for you to go see those Orlando Magic. And you can take the Magic Express, the Hall & Hearts ESPN Northwest Florida Magic Express. Ride with us on the ultimate road trip. We're going to be taking a busload of ESPN Northwest Florida listeners to see the Magic play the Bulls Sunday, April 7th. You can watch the game from a presidential suite. That comes with food, drinks, and a free ride on the Magic Express. To enter, all you got to do is open up the ESPN Northwest Florida app and click Enter Contest. AG, how do they get the ESPN Northwest Florida app?
Go to either your app or iTunes App Store or your Android store and
get on your iPod and
iPod,
yeah,
iPod Nano, and
iTunes Store. I was just kind of
App Store,
your App Store, Google Play Store, and then type in 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. And then what do you do to get into the contest after you download the app?
I assume you hit enter contest.
Boom, that's exactly right. That's brought to you by Hall & Hearts, PCB Hobby, and ESPN Northwest Florida. You will need to come pick up those tickets. Looking here at our ESPN men's bracket buster challenge here. We've got ESPN fan 68 something 542959. He doesn't got a good name at all, but he's leading the bracket along with Club Trill and West Virginia. They all have UConn as their champion, sitting at 480 points. Then you've got a boatload of people tied at 4. Monty Gators, Tuesday Tyler, Coach Olds, Ken McVeigh, Best GM 91. Another random ESPN fan name, Amanda McDowell, Dino's Delight, and Dino's Delight is tied there for 11th. You got 3 guys tied for 11th, and Dino's Delight, Florida guy, and Steve Wiley's picks. So a lot of different champions there. I'm not having the greatest. I'm sitting at 14th though, which is better than the last couple of years where I've been near the back of the bracket. Kyle, did you fill out a bracket this year? Who was your champ?
North Carolina.
Oh,
ironically enough, I'm sitting at 420 points.
All right, there you go.
I think I'm at 450.
450. I'm sitting at.
I'm 90th,
450,
and I got 340 points.
There you go.
But I still got all my Final Four and most of the Elite Eight, so there's still a chance for points.
There you go. And Caveman Rick's been betting on every single underdog.
Yes, right now, as of all the games played, including the play-in games, I am down 60 cents after making all those bets.
There you go, man. That's not too bad, though. A lot of bets. You had some great underdogs win, but let's get back to our division predictions. We left off with the American League East. We breezed through that. So is there anything that you guys want to add to the American League East at all?
I don't think so.
All right.
I just real fast on the O's. I think they did the right thing, adding a certified ace, which is maybe something that we could have learned from.
Thank you for taking him away from us.
Yeah. Get him. You got him out of our division, but also when you have a glaring need like that, you don't go out and sign a Frankie Montas. If you got a team that's willing to trade a Corbin Burns, you go do that. And I just wish the Reds would have replicated what the O's were trying to do instead of being so cheap. I don't know if those young guys, similar to us, will be able to keep that hype up for a second straight season. I'd love to be wrong. Hate the Yankees. Love what Baltimore's building.
Yeah.
I just don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Now, I still think they make the playoffs.
Yeah.
But
and maybe the wild card spots have had a lot of success in the playoffs the last few years. So we'll move over to the National League here. And we've got the West, which now went from there being an exclamation point beside the Dodgers, right? Does the whole Shohei Ohtani and his interpreter, does that affect your division picks or your division champion for the National League West? Kyle, you want to start or AG?
I think that
if you want to dive into the Ohtani thing right here for a second, we've got 28 minutes and only 3 divisions to pick here.
The only thing I can really say about the Ohtani thing right now is there's no believability to his side of this. I sent you a couple videos on Instagram earlier today where there were a couple of mysterious big money bets that were placed and exactly the numbers that he said were stolen from him, where one game was against the Braves. He had
I've seen all of those.
but
But has that been substantiated, right? I mean, that's the thing.
I think, truthfully, the difference for the Dodgers there is if, in the odd chance Ohtani does get suspended, which it won't. Oh man, you can really deep dive here.
Oh yeah.
How did this happen, right? Yeah, welcome to the Caesar Sportsbook.
Like
MLB
you're
kickoff brought to you by DraftKings live on the FanDuel Network.
ESPN brought to you by ESPN Bet.
Right. Yeah, right. So I mean, could really go down the rabbit hole, but I'm almost
to the point now where you saw the college president Baker come out today and say he won't stay. There's a lot of states that don't even allow college player prop bets, and I'm 100% on board with that, especially with collegiate athletes. But I'm almost to the point now is we've already had enough incidents at this point. I love sports to the point where I don't need to gamble or bet on these sports, you know what I mean? Now I know other people have a different opinion on that, and that's fine. But if it's really having us to take a look at the integrity of the sports like this, because if they took gambling all the way out of it, then it would just be on the illegal side of things. So then we could, start getting rid of the NFL scripted. I mean, there's integrity, which. Again, it goes to the government, but there are groups out there that monitor the integrity. That's why you have the whole Temple situation. That's why you got a no-name basketball player that no one knew before all of this with the Toronto Raptors unless they bet on him, and now he's being investigated. You had the Alabama baseball situation last year. When these situations arise, they get caught, they get magnified at that point. And so there's people out there who are watching these things, and so it's not just going to go you're not just going to be able to get away with it. But I would if we're going to keep on having situations like this for the sake of sports, let's just get rid of sports gambling then at that point.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with you. Anyway, I think that Ohtani being in the lineup is the difference between 120 wins and 105. So honestly, I mean, that's. I mean, the Dodgers are winning the division without Ohtani. With Ohtani, it doesn't matter. I think the Giants and Padres both did a couple of nice moves that will put them right, battling for second place. I don't think the Diamondbacks are going to be able to replicate their success at all. Don't think that they did quite enough to stay relevant in that division. Now, and there's only 3 wild card spots. The National League is really starting to step up. You got the Phillies, the Braves, whoever doesn't win the division, right, is making the wild card more than likely. It's just so convoluted, man, that I don't know about the Diamondbacks, truthfully. So I wanted to talk more about the guys below number 1 for that little 30 seconds.
Yeah,
more than anything.
I mean, it's the Dodgers until they fall on their face, or Ohtani gets suspended, or that starting pitching that they have a plethora of right now gets injured. Right? I mean, Glass. We know he's made of glass. Can he sustain a 20 to 30 game season? We'll see. But Bobby Miller, I think, is poised to have a great second season. I think Yamamoto.
He got lit up in Korea.
But it's one game. I'm not going to, call him a failure at this point.
Yeah.
But that lineup is loaded. I mean, when you're moving Mookie Betts to second base because your outfield is stacked.
Shortstop, right?
Yeah, shortstop.
Yeah, shortstop.
Yeah.
It was second.
Second base last year. Then Gavin Lux started having some issues at shortstop, right. So now he's going to be playing short.
But you moved him out of his natural position to accommodate the wealth that you have. Right?
Yeah, that's fair enough, too.
We talked about Will Smith already, but I think I'm with Kyle. I think the D-backs take a step back. I don't feel like they're going to be able to duplicate what they did last year. The Padres can be sneaky good. I think if Tatis steps up, and I think if Machado plays better than he did last year, then they could definitely make a run at it, but I think it's the Dodgers to lose.
All right, Caveman?
Yeah, same thing. It's the Dodgers. It's an arms race, man. They just got too many weapons, too big weapons, for everybody else. So unless they actually have some real serious, drama going on with this Ohtani thing, and if Yamamoto just isn't what everybody's expecting him to be, and just because of all this, it just kind of cascades into a downward spiral for them, I think they're going to do it. Real quick on the Ohtani thing, like I mentioned, I think it was last week, I mean, the way they're spinning this thing, I think, they're spinning it to make him look like a victim because you can't be a suspect when you're made to look like a victim. You know what I'm saying? It's like
he's the face of the league, whether you want to admit it or not. Shohei Ohtani
but that shouldn't give him immunity.
No, it should not. But at the same time, though, when you're putting him out there as the face of the league, and all of a sudden there's this black eye, you're going to do everything you can to conceal it. And
that's exactly what happened with Michael Jordan.
Yeah, 100%. It's just with Michael Jordan, we didn't have social media out there, so there's a big difference there. But no, and
well, lots of high-profile people bet. I mean, you got Jordan. Look at Phil Mickelson. You know, all kinds of people like to bet on sports.
Right. So at the Jordan time, it was completely illegal. It is illegal in the sense of not only was he doing it in California, but it was in an illegal gambling ring. So at that point, you know, yeah, I'm fine with a suspension or whatever they want to do. If he was gambling on baseball, though, and I stand by this, if there is any single way that he was gambling on Major League Baseball, there is no cover it up or any of that.
You have two options.
KBO or MPB. Or what's the other option?
Well, I say the first option is he gets the lifetime ban, or number two, the second option is if you want to protect your golden boy, you suspend him for a whole season, you reinstate him, and you do the right thing and let Pete Rose back in baseball.
I think you can do that
he needs
as
a
well.
Bigger hit than that, though.
You can put Pete Rose in the Hall of Fame, but he needs at least 324 games or whatever it was that Trevor Bauer got. Because why? Yeah, I mean, at that point,
somebody who was completely innocent.
He needs like 5 years, man, and then like we talked about, and then after 5 years, you can apply for reinstatement, and we'll see what happens.
Maybe
then,
he can defer his suspension.
There you go. Or pay to get back in. Like, hey, look, I got $700 million coming in a few years. Anyway, I can pay, buy myself back in. For me, man, it's so hard because I really don't want to pick the Dodgers, but how do you go with anyone else for all of the reasons that you guys mentioned? And who cares if like Kyle said, who cares if Shohei's not in the lineup? They're still the best team in the West on paper. Who cares if Yamamoto flubs up because they're still got one of the best pitching staffs in that division? Like you mentioned Bobby Miller, Glasnow, Willie's end up staying healthy. We don't know, but they still got a plethora of arms. And then what did we say earlier? They got the best farm. I don't know if it's still the best, but last year it was the best farm in baseball. So yeah, it's hard to go against the LA Dodgers. We'll move on to the Central here. Kyle, lead us off.
Oh, the Cubs.
Cubs?
Yeah, I've got Cubs cards then Reds. That's all I want to say. I don't want to talk good about the Cubs, but you know why.
Fair.
All the reasons are there. They, like you said earlier, missed fly ball away from making the playoffs. They only got better. I think Christopher Morel is a guy that could easily hit 40 bombs this year. Man, that's it. I'm done talking good about them.
All right, there you go.
I've got the Reds winning the division. I feel like we have enough juice. We have enough talent to get it done. Starting pitching stays healthy. And we run away with the division. I think we win by 4 or 5 games.
Gabe.
And real quick.
Yeah, of course.
So you mentioned the Cardinals being in second. I don't understand why everyone is so high on St. Louis. Arenado is not getting any younger. Paul Goldschmidt is not getting any younger. Jordan Walker is phenomenal. I'll give you that. I think Victor Scott, who's now in AAA, if he comes up, can be a difference maker. I don't like Mason Wynn. I don't like Contreras as their catcher. They're not getting any younger. Their pitching is still abysmal. They're going to be relying on Sonny Gray to be their ace as well as Lance Lynn to be what Lance Lynn was 5 years ago. I think the Cardinals finish in 4th or 5th in this division, and I think you see Nolan Arenado and Paul Goldschmidt get dealt at the trade deadline.
All right, good point. Caveman Rick?
This is one I can't decide on, really, to be honest with you. But for whatever reason, just because you can't seem to keep them down a whole lot or for very long, I'm going to pick the Cardinals just for that reason. I mean, it doesn't seem like, they have a season or two where they're bad, and they're right back at the top again. So why not it be this year?
All right, that's a good point. I guess I might as well just go with the Pirates at this point so we can get everyone involved. I mean, I think it might have been something that you had posted earlier before, while we were still in the midst of spring training, where you could have the Pirates sitting there at like 80 and 82.
Yeah, I mean, they absolutely have the potential. O'Neal Cruz is going to be healthy again.
Oh, yeah, I love him.
They're going to have Ke'Bryan Hayes. They've got Brian Reynolds still.
They've got Yover Peguero at second. Henry Davis will be catching more since Indy's out for the season.
They've got
Nick Gonzalez is solid. Nick Gonzalez is solid.
Yeah, dude.
I really, really like what Pittsburgh is putting together.
All right, it is time for the race to Talladega. Jeff Simpson, you are on the clock. Jeff Simpson, you are on the clock. 850-215-6290. Let's see what Jeff's qualifying time is going to be as we continue on with our division predictions here. No, in all seriousness, I think that the Council of Craig Council is going to end up being a difference maker. I mean, you saw what he kind of got to work with the Milwaukee Brewers, and they had a great pitching staff and some great young talent over there. I think that he's got more with the Chicago Cubs now. I think that there's a case to be made that he's got more with the Cubbies. Obviously, you know, a little bias there with Dansby Swanson as well. But yeah, I'm gonna take the Cubbies. So we'll basically have two Cubs, a Reds, and a Cardinals. Is Jeff on the line with us? All right, real quick, Jeff, have you ever been to Talladega before?
I have never been to Talladega ever.
Do you know how long your time was?
8 seconds, like a rodeo.
Hey, there you go, my man. Awesome stuff. Well, we don't have a very long show today, or else obviously we would be talking a little bit longer with you. But you are in the lead as of this point with 8 seconds, so you're the pole sitter right now. Who's your World Series prediction? Give me two teams, the American League, National League, who will be playing in the World Series.
Reds and, oh, goodness, Rangers, I guess.
There we go.
Reds and Rangers.
Like
Johnny Yankees.
Reds are going to steal it, though. Reds are going to steal it.
All right, Reds winning the World Series. You just, I don't know if you perplexed Kyle right now, or if you just maybe got his heart a little happy. So not only do we have two Reds fans in the building, but Jeff's is saying Reds and Rangers for the World Series. Jeff, thanks so much for your call, and thanks for playing the race to Talladega with us.
Thanks.
Absolutely, man. One of these days when I have a full show on Friday again, we are going to have Jeff in the building with us for a Fan Friday. Guy's a wealth of knowledge when it comes to sports.
I'm not giving up on the Reds.
No doubt.
I'm just...
He's the consummate pessimist. Like, in our text messages, I have to constantly
console.
Say, relax.
The bad part is
let the cake bake.
Often about that.
Let the cake bake. Let's see how this plays out, and then we'll go from there.
The cake is baked, and Bubba Thompson's 26th man. The cake was left in the oven too long.
There you go. So his was Rangers Reds. Coach Olds just texted in. He's got the Braves and the Rays, which would be a dream World Series for me. If I could have it my way, if that could be my prediction every single year, I would make it like that. But Braves and Astros is more than likely going to be is that your World Series prediction as well? Braves and Astros?
I haven't really thought. I know that we were supposed to do that, but I haven't put much thought into it.
Well, let's wait. Let's finish up our division predictions right here. So yeah, we're wrapping up the NL Central right here, and taking the Cubs. Tyler's also got the Reds. He's going with the Reds. So we're missing the Brewers and the Pirates out of the NL Central. Last. Oh,
Yeah.
Pirates above.
Yeah,
The Brewers are going to blow it up at the Yelich will be wearing a different uniform in July.
Okay. Could it be a Cincinnati Reds uniform?
Oh, no. 'Cause they won't do anything that they need.
There you go. All right, National League East here. Kyle, start us off with the East.
I mean, the cliche answer is the Braves. The Braves are the best team in the division. I worry about the back end of the Braves rotation. But they've just like the Dodgers, man. They've got 4 or 5 runs, 5 runs a game in the lineup, 5 or 6 maybe. I don't know what they averaged last year, but they're going to be right there every game. The Phillies, I think, are not going to be far behind them, especially like you guys said earlier, if the top of that rotation, including my Cy Young pick, they're a little spoiler for later, has the season that I think he's going to have. I think the Phillies they can give the Braves a run for their money. They really can.
Oh, yeah.
I do want to say, though, I've been kind of watching everything happen, and obviously I don't want to spend too long on it because we don't have much time left, but I think that the Mets had a good offseason.
And they get Edwin Diaz back.
Well, they went a little bit out of their norm, and instead of going and spending a bunch of money on a couple of guys, they went out and got Luis Severino. They went out and got Sean Manea. They just signed J.D. Martinez, Harrison Bader. I think that the Mets had a sneaky good offseason. I don't think they're going to be in the running for the division, but I do think that the Mets could be a team to watch for in the National. They could be like maybe last year's Arizona, like where they sneak in, they get that, or they're right there, 7-8 in the National League.
Hey, and those teams have been making runs for sure.
Yeah.
I'm not as high on the Mets as you. They have a lot of question marks for me. I think you're going to see a lot of their young prospects, particularly the ones they got from Houston and Texas last year in the Verlander and Scherzer trades. Ryan Clifford, Drew Gilbert, Luis Angel Acuna.
Yeah.
Right.
I've got him on my franchise where I'm using the Giants just because I wanted to play against Ohtani a lot. And, he got injured in the third game for the rest of the season.
So I'm not as high on them, but it's hard to argue against the Braves. I mean, until the Braves show that they have a weakness, it's hard to pick against them. The only time
it's called the Phillies.
Well, no, the only time I saw the Braves really, really kind of struggle was after they had already clinched the division with like 20 games to go. And you and I talked about that last season when it was happening, and I said this is not a good thing.
Phillies took them out 2 years ago, and that wasn't an excuse.
Right. I agree. And you know what? And I was the only one in our group that said that the Phillies are going to wax the Braves in the postseason, and I got ostracized for it. But it actually came to fruition.
I wasn't in that group.
No, I know. But no, it's hard to argue against the Braves. I like the Phillies. I like their rotation. I like what they've got offensively. I don't think Trey Turner has the same year he had last year in terms of his slow start. I think Castellanos is really, really slept on. But the key to this Braves season isn't going to be Acuna. It's not going to be Ozzie Albies. I think those guys are going to do what they do. I think what's going to put the Braves over the top this season is going to be Austin Riley. And I think you're going to see him in that top two, in terms of candidacy for MVP, because he's fully capable of putting up those kinds of numbers.
So basically he takes the role of Matt Olson last year, or could you see all three of those guys in the running along with Freddie Freeman, Mookie Betts? Like, is it just a Braves and Dodgers showdown again?
I think it's going to be difficult for Matt Olson to duplicate what he did last year.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I mean, to expect those kind of numbers from him year in and year out is going to be tough. But what the Braves have that most teams don't is they have a guy over on the opposite corner that is mashing.
Yeah.
And I think Austin Riley is going to be that guy that picks up whatever slack that, they lose from, a Marcelo Zuna or a Matt Olson. And where I question the Braves is if health becomes a factor, like I've said, ad nauseum, they don't have a lot of depth in their organization, and that worries me for them. But all things considered, everybody's healthy. You got to go Braves.
Caveman Rick,
what am I wearing?
I can't. I don't know. My eyes, the glare on the the window just ain't working well.
I mean, we got pitching. We got 3 good pitchers that we can throw out there. We got a murder's row, in the lineup that is pretty hard to beat compared to a lot of other teams out there. I would say maybe our bullpen's like our one big concern or one big worry that might cause us some problems down the road.
Which was terrible throughout the regular season, right? And then gets into the postseason. It's like, oh, here, we're going to flip a switch.
They're lights out.
Right. I don't see us having a problem like the Braves where we're so far ahead that they just kind of, take their foot off the gas. I don't think the Philadelphia fans will pretty much allow it too. I mean, if you're still going to games and in Philly, just that crowd alone is going to get you into games, and you're not really going to be able to, I don't think, take it all that easy, to be honest with you. About the Braves, sure. I mean, they got a great lineup as well, and they're real tough out. But they've been having a lot of success the last handful of years. I mean, they've been red hot. It's kind of hard to sustain that success that long, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So because of that too, I think that's going to be another reason. And then like AG was saying, that's probably going to catch up to him after a while, going deep into the playoffs every year and then not having a lot of, depth and
who's going deep into the playoffs every year? The Braves?
Well, I mean, okay, they got knocked out, by us a couple years ago, like in the first round. But I'm just still saying,
And
like,
last year.
right now, though, I mean, they're okay. So
Y'all have been playing more games than us.
Okay,
so
fair
by
enough.
that argument, then we'll be fine.
But for like we talked about it, the 6 weeks going into the playoffs, you guys were, basically not doing anything because you're
y'all helped get the Marlins into the postseason last year.
There you go.
You did, 100%.
Well.
Good luck sustaining it. That's all.
I mean, and the Nationals could be a team this year that with their young talent could maybe be like the Marlins were last year. The Marlins, I don't know about the Marlins this year.
What are they doing?
With
we have one more division, huh?
That was it. That was it.
What are they doing?
The Marlins?
Well, yeah, like what are they? Because
they're focusing on Jazz Chisholm and Miguel Rojas and their arguments.
They trade John Birdie today, right?
Yeah,
and
to the Yanks, right?
To the Yankees.
Yeah.
And I mean, Sandy's out this year, right?
Yes.
So Sandy's out the whole year. They didn't do anything to bolster their rotation, but then they bring in Tim Anderson. What a confusing team. And by the way, Jazz Chisholm.
They brought in Tim Anderson for when they play the Dodgers. Is Miguel Rojas still with the Dodgers? I know he was with them last year. I don't know.
Let him go.
There you go. And then J Ram and Jazz Chisholm are going to get after it in another game. So yeah, I'm not sure what they're doing. Obviously, I'm going to go with the Atlanta Braves, and I think that they win the division. But man, with all of the talk about the Braves, the Phillies got a huge chip on their shoulder because their roster, outside of maybe the bullpen, is just as talented as what the Atlanta Braves is. And then I just always, for a team like the Mets, we've heard so much about them over the last 2 years, and then we get to this situation and we're not hearing much about them. Like you mentioned it earlier,
The Michigan Wolverine football effect.
Yeah, kind of like that, man. Yeah. You just never know what you could end up seeing out of the New York Metropolitans. But I think the Braves win it, and the Phillies be there 1A, well, not 1A, 1B, finish second there. I'll go with the Mets finishing third, and the Marlins wrapping up in fourth, and Nationals fourth, Marlins fifth there. We are almost out of time for today, so what's your final thought for today?
Just real quick, I'll give you my MVPs and my Cy Youngs. Since I got
40 seconds.
Okay, well, Mookie Betts, Jose Ramirez, Zach Wheeler, Luis Castillo.
All right. You want to do the same thing? 30 seconds.
Yeah, I've got Judge in the AL. In the NL, I think I'm going to go with Corbin Carroll.
Nice.
And Cy Young, La Piedra, Luis Castillo. NL, I think Blake Snell repeats because he's in that giant ballpark in San Francisco.
Great stuff. Thank you, guys. It's great to have you back with us, Kyle. For Caveman Rick, Kyle Wright, AG, I'm David Hayes. Magic coming up next. Just remember, Jesus loves you, so do I.
Yeah.
ESPN Northwest Florida is taking a road trip to see the Orlando Magic. It's the Holland Hearts ESPN Northwest Florida Magic Express. We're taking a busload of ESPN listeners and driving them to see the Orlando Magic play the